Well, it was a thriller on the bracket buster against Ohio, but unfortunately for the Eagles, a tough one here tonight. We're head coach Randy Peele, 77-74 in overtime. Randy, your team battled back from 20 in the first half, made it exciting down the stretch, and then in overtime just fell a little bit short, but you have to be happy with how the team came back.
Well, you know, Mike, our biggest issue is we got to play a complete game. And against High Point, we went in at halftime down 14. Tonight we're down 5, but really we played 35 minutes tonight out of a 45-minute game. You know, the first 10 minutes of the game, they really took it to us. And part of that was our own doing because we shot the ball too quick. And conversely, they just ran by us in transition. So, you know, obviously, you know, our ability to execute in the half court's got to get better, you know, within the next week, you know, as we approach the conference tournament.
What was the adjustment down 20? You close out the half on a 19-4 run to pull within 5.
Well, I just started mixing in more zone, and I started mixing in more pressure. And conversely, you know, they shot quick. And so we were able to give them one shot, and we got back in the game because we were able to get out in transition and get transition baskets. They had a hard time guarding us in 94 feet. That's the reason why we got back in the game.
Well, under 10 seconds to play in regulation, Reggie Middleton with the ball. Did you want him to hold on to it that long? What was the play going into the last play?
We basically what we were trying to do was to get a flat back. You know, I tried to put Reggie Middleton in a one-on-one situation. You know, you can say, I mean, he turned it over. They didn't get a shot. Right. You know, so I wanted him to go between 8 and 6 seconds, which is plenty of time. And, you know, the ball got deflected on a crossover dribble. So that was tough. You know, we had a chance to win the game right there. And, you know, that one's going to stay with me for quite a while.
Well, you want to be concerned about the team. You don't want them to be too fragile heading into the tournament. So the next 2 games coming up with Liberty on Thursday will be pretty important to try and build some momentum.
No question. I mean, we played pretty well at times. You know, I think going into last week, you know, we just have to stay like focused, and we can't, you know, be overcome with despair because of what's happened the last 3 games. And that's my message. Sometimes when you get these 3 really hard losses this week, you know, we can't get down. We can't lose confidence. That's my biggest concern, which they're not. I'm not going to let that happen. And then secondly, you know, offensively, we got to be better in the half court. It's that simple. You know, as you get going on right now, the games are more and more 47-foot games, and we got to be better once we cross half court in terms of our execution.
All right, Randy.
Okay, thanks Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Randy Peele, after the 77-74 overtime loss to Ohio, an exciting game here at Winthrop Coliseum.